So we're in class and we're having a discussion about the media and the news and how they have influence on society. And someone came up and asked the question, where did the word or where did the term Chiraq came from? And well, we came up with the obvious answer, you know, that there was more people dying in the city of Chicago than it was in the country of Iraq. That's, you know, that's what we was all thinking. That's what we were all told. We was going by, you know, what we, you know, heard on the news, what we saw on TV, and, you know, that was the meaning. So we started scratching our heads trying to figure out, like, wait a minute, how is that possible? You have Iraq, a whole country. It has over 78 million people living there. And then at the, you know, at one point it was in full-blown war. When the term first came out, it was at war. So you got over 78 million people living in the country of Iraq. And then you have the city of Chicago, which is a little over 2 million people. But yet there's more people dying in Chicago than it is in the country of Iraq. And we all have seen the news. We all watched the news, seen it on media, whereas they were saying there was more people dying in Chicago than it was in Iraq. And, you know, if you think about it, if people was dying as much as they said that they was on the news, then, man, we would all be dead by now. I mean, it was, they would do a report. Be on the corner somewhere where it was a tragedy strike. You know, you have tragedy in every major city in the United States. New York, Los Angeles, Boston, Detroit, New Orleans, Las Vegas, wherever. There's always tragedy. But then, you know, they would tell you, oh, well, we have 75 people that have died due to gun violence in the city of Chicago just this past weekend. Now, who's doing the numbers? Are we doing research for ourselves, or are we just going by what they tell us? Because the thing is, and I'm thinking that some of these numbers are being made up. You know, that's, you know, my personal opinion. And then they said that, okay, well, the term Chiraq came from the youth. That young people in Chicago was calling it Chiraq because it was more violent in Chicago than it was in Iraq. Let me see. Because you know what? I'm thinking that it was actually the media that came up with the term Chiraq. How do I know this? How can I prove it? Well, okay, now let me give you an example. Let me just give you an example. There was a couple in about around 2002, 2004 in Hollywood. Ben Affleck, you remember that guy? Ben Affleck, the actor. Yeah, the guy that tried to play as Daredevil and the other characters he's supposed to be playing as Batman in the movie Batman vs. Superman. Yeah, we heard Ben Affleck. And at the time he was dating a girl by the name of Jennifer Lopez. You know, Jenny from the Block. You heard of them, right? Okay, now they was, at the time, they was a power couple. Engaged to be married, going out, you know, doing music videos, appearing in movies together, you know, blah, blah, blah. And the thing is that the tabloids, the media, was covering them so much to the point that instead of just saying Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez, they start calling them Benifer. Because they was being covered by the news so many times. So instead of just saying them Ben and Jennifer, they just called them Benifer. The same situation here, Chiraq. They just compared Chicago and Iraq, and they made it into one. So the thing is, come on now. In other words, this is nothing new. The media, this is what they do. This is what they do. So it's not like this is something that's new or something that they just, you know, just came up overnight or just yesterday. They have done this before. Now, okay, now here's the thing. Now, why Chicago? That's the question. Why Chicago? Well, that's a good question. Out of all the cities, because it was always New York was very violent, Washington, D.C. was very violent, Los Angeles was very violent. And don't get me wrong, I was born and raised in Chicago, so I know how dangerous the city of Chicago really is. Because, and here's the thing, now if anybody who knows their history knows about the Prohibition era, you know, there was a time where it was illegal to buy and sell alcohol. And there was a Chicago gang by the name of the Chicago Outfit. And it was run by a mobster by the name of Al Capone. You heard the name, right? Al Capone. And Al Capone at one time had 12 men. 12 men murdered in the city of Chicago. And if you don't believe me, all you have to do is just look up the term St. Valentine's Day Massacre. If you look that up, it'll give you a history of Al Capone and his rivalry Bugs, who was running the gang in the north side of Chicago, as opposed to Al Capone running the south side of Chicago. So I say that to say this. There's always been a history of violence in Chicago. So the question is, why now? What's different? Why all of a sudden Chicago is more dangerous now? Why is it that Chicago is the most dangerous city in the entire world, seem like? And if you think about it, it is all because this is the hometown of President Barack Obama. It is. Now, the thing is that it's not that anything has changed. It's the fact that, you know, to attack him, they attack his hometown by saying that, well, you know what, the Iraq war is kind of calmed down since President Barack Obama came into office, but his hometown city of Chicago is still in chaos. You know, so it's more about trying to discredit him as opposed to the city itself. So really nothing's changed. It's just the fact that this is just another way of people attacking President Barack Obama. Now, I'm not saying that telling people to stop using the term, stop saying Chiraq, you know, you can use it all you want. But the thing is, just like that term Benifer, and you know, nobody remembers that, nobody cares or anything like that, Chiraq will run its course, and guess what? It'll be over with. So my prediction is that as soon as President Barack Obama is out of office, guess what? The term Chiraq will have pretty much run its course. Don't believe me? Wait, just hang around and wait and see. Now, it's a movie coming out, a Spike Lee joint, you know, Chiraq, and, you know, it might be a rap artist or a rap group coming out calling themselves Chiraq. It'll come and go, but for the most part, it will be over with. Once President Obama's term is over with, people will be like, what's Chiraq? What does that mean? How do you even spell that? Now, mark my words, this will happen. Because the thing is, this was, the whole purpose of the term was to be used against President Barack Obama. But once he's out of office, then what? Term be of no more use. Alright, I guess I ranted long enough. I know it wasn't that funny, but you know, you use what you got. You know, I just had something on my mind. I just had to get it off my chest. All right, goodbye, everybody. See you next time, and hopefully I'll be funnier.